Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today we're tackling a question I know many of you are asking. Is ServiceTitan a good time to buy now? ServiceTitan is, well, a really fascinating company in the cloud software space. A bit of unicorn, really, trying to transform how the trades operate with tech. We've pulled together a bunch of recent reports, financial data, market insights, basically everything we could find to help you understand where they stand right now. Our goal today is to cut through the noise, look at the financials, the market buzz, what might be coming down the pike, and yeah, the risks too. Hopefully by the end of this chat, you'll have a much clearer picture of ServiceTitan as a potential investment. And hey, before we dive in, if you find this discussion useful, please hit that subscribe button, give us a like, maybe drop a comment below. We really do love hearing what you think. And seriously, if there's another company you want us to look into, let us know in the comments. Okay, let's unpack ServiceTitan.
Leader in software for the trades, but it presents this interesting puzzle, doesn't it? Great growth, but that profitability question mark just hangs there.
So maybe let's start right there. To kick us off, can you give us a handle on what ServiceTitan actually does? Their core business, why they're such a big deal?
Yeah, absolutely. What's really fascinating here is just how strong their position is in what you might think is kind of an old school sector, but it's vital and it's super fragmented. They are pretty much the leading provider in the US and Canada for cloud-based field service management software.
Field service management, so like for contractors.
Exactly. Think about plumbers, HVAC techs, electricians, pest control, landscaping, you name it. ServiceTitan gives these businesses the digital tools to manage basically everything. We're talking scheduling, dispatching jobs, sending invoices, managing customer relationships, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
Their product suite is pretty broad, too. You've got the main ServiceTitan platform, then specialized stuff like Field Routes, which is geared towards pest control, and Aspire for landscaping and cleaning businesses, their real strengths. Well, brand leadership is huge, and they've carved out a really significant market share in these specific contractor areas. They offer this comprehensive workflow automation that, well, for a lot of these businesses, it's a total game changer compared to paper and spreadsheets.
That definitely sounds like a solid foundation. I mean, the number of those kinds of essential service businesses out there is massive. But how does that strong position translate into, the financials? Because we are seeing some pretty interesting numbers, especially when you put revenue growth next to profitability. Feels like that classic tech story.
Indeed. And you've really nailed the central tension here. On the revenue side, ServiceTitan has shown, really robust growth. It clearly shows there's strong demand for what they're selling. For the last 12 months, revenue was $817.24 million, and they just reported Q2 2025 revenue that came in at $242.1 million.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's a pretty hefty year-over-year increase, about 25%. What's more, their own guidance suggests around 24% revenue growth for the whole of 2025. So the momentum is there. Recent reports highlight not just big gains in their core platform revenue, but also, interestingly, successful expansion into larger enterprise commercial markets. They seem to be moving beyond just the smaller independent guys.
So they're landing bigger fish too.
Looks like it. Suggests they can scale up their sales efforts and capture those larger contracts.
That kind of top-line growth is definitely eye-catching, clearly solving a real problem. But you said versus profitability. What's the other side of that coin look like, and why is it such a sticking point for investors?
Right, and this is absolutely the critical question, because despite that really strong revenue growth, profitability is still a very significant concern. Over the last 12 months, ServiceTitan reported a net loss of $337.06 million. That translates to an earnings per share of -$6.
Woof, okay. Big loss.
It is. Now, to be fair, they did just have what's called a beat and raise quarter for Q1 2025.
Meaning they did better than expected and guided higher for the future.
Exactly. They beat analyst earnings estimates and raised their future revenue guidance. So that's positive momentum. But their overall profit margins are still deeply negative. They're spending a lot more than they're bringing in, at least on an income basis. And the market, interestingly, seems to be pricing in a ton of future success. Their forward PE ratio is way up there at 168.95.
Whoa, okay. Let's pause on that. Forward PE of nearly 169. Just to clarify for everyone listening, that means the market's looking at expected earnings for next year, right? And that number is, it's sky high. What does a valuation like that really signal to you?
Precisely. A forward PE close to 169 isn't just high, it suggests investors are making an enormous bet They're betting that ServiceTitan is going to dramatically increase its future earnings. It's not just expecting success. It's banking on massive disruption, massive market capture down the road.
So zero room for error, basically.
Pretty much. Any stumble in execution, any sign that the path to profitability is slower than expected, that could lead to a pretty significant re-rating by the market, the high wire act.
Okay, so high valuation, currently unprofitable. That really hammers home that tech dilemma. What about their overall financial health beyond just revenue and profit? Anything else we should be thinking about?
Well, zooming out a bit, the company's market cap is around $9.32 billion. So it's a substantial company. However, and this is a really important point for you, the listener's specific details on their debt or detailed cash flow statements, they aren't readily available from recent filings.
That's interesting. Less transparency than a typical public company.
Yeah, potentially. For a company that might be eyeing an IPO someday, this relative lack of current publicly verifiable financial detail adds a layer of uncertainty. The ongoing losses and that super high valuation definitely raise some caution flags about, how much cash they might be burning through and how dependent they are on investors keeping the faith and funding the growth.
Right. You're investing more in the story and the vision, maybe with less recent hard data on the balance sheet than usual.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay. And what about competition? Is this their market to own, or are they fighting off rivals?
Oh, they're definitely in a competitive space. SaaS for field services is pretty active. While they're a leader, they've got notable rivals like Jobber and Housecall Pro.
How do they stack up against those guys?
It's interesting. ServiceTitan often seems to target the larger contractors, the ones needing really comprehensive, almost enterprise-level features. That fits with their move into enterprise commercial markets. Jobber and Housecall Pro, while they do similar things, often focus maybe more on the smaller shops, the owner-operators, or businesses just starting to digitize their operations.
So different niches within the same broad market.
Kind of, yeah. There are nuances in who they target and maybe their pricing. ServiceTitan's strength is often seen as the breadth and depth of features for complex operations. Others might compete more on ease of use or a lower price point for simpler needs.
Okay, so they lead, but it's definitely a contested field. What about weaknesses then? What could hold ServiceTitan back?
Well, the big one we keep coming back to. No clear, demonstrated path to sustainable profitability yet. That's the elephant in the room. Also, their reliance on that SMB client base. Even though they're moving into enterprise, a lot of their business is still with smaller companies.
And SMBs can be sensitive to the economy.
Yeah, exactly. If there's a recession or just a slowdown in construction or home improvement spending, ServiceTitan could see customers churn or find it harder to sign up new ones. And, it's a crowded SaaS market. New players pop up, rivals add features. They constantly need to innovate just to stay ahead.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's shift gears a bit then. We've talked fundamentals. Now, how is the market actually reacting? What's the pulse on the stock itself? What's the price doing?
Right. So as of September 5th, 2025, the price was sitting at $103.42. Looking at the 52-week range, it's been pretty volatile. It's traded between roughly $79.81 on the low end and $131.33 on the high end. Recently, it's actually been trading more towards the bottom of that range. It had a pretty significant pullback, like 20% off its recent highs. So, and not exactly a smooth ride for investors lately.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, especially for anyone watching closely just now. There's some big movement very recently tied to their Q2 earnings, wasn't there? Walk us through that. What happened?
Yeah, this is a really key point in the story right now. They just reported those Q2 2025 results in early September. Showed that $242.1 million in revenue we mentioned. But the big news, I think, was the dramatic improvement they highlighted in their non-GAAP margins.
Okay, non-GAAP. So that adjusts for certain things to show the underlying business performance.
Exactly. Things like stock-based compensation or one-off costs. It aims to give a clearer view of core operational profitability. And that improvement suggests what's called operational leverage, meaning as their revenue grows, their profits, theoretically, should grow even faster because fixed costs get spread over more sales.
Got it.
So that sign of leverage, plus the continued expansion into enterprise markets, well, the market really liked it.
How much did they like it?
The reaction was strong. On September 5th, the shares shot up 12.6% in a single day, reached the highest level since back in June. And this happened on pretty noticeable trading volume, and it kind of bucked the trend of the wider sector, which was interesting. It even sparked some chatter, maybe about AI-driven trading bots picking up on those margin signals.
Fascinating. So despite the underlying profitability concerns we talked about, the market gave a huge thumbs up to those specific Q2 results.
Yeah.
But that's just one day. What do the broader technical indicators, the overall market sentiment, tell us? Is it all clear sailing now?
Well, the technical picture is actually quite mixed. It really shows that tension we keep highlighting. The stock is currently trading below its 50-day simple moving average, the SMA. That's sitting around $108.83.
And being below the 50-day usually means?
Often suggests the stock is losing a bit of momentum, or at least isn't in a strong short to medium term uptrend. So despite that recent jump, the broader trend still looks kind of corrective or maybe neutral at best. Then you look at the 14-day RSI, the relative strength index. It's near neutral, around 45.84.
Not overbought, not oversold.
Exactly. The RSI measures the speed and change of price moves. Neutral suggests the market is still kind of finding its feet after that earnings pop. No strong signal either way. However, and this is a really significant counterpoint, the overall market sentiment, if you look at something like the Fear and Greed Index, is actually bearish. It was recently at 39, indicating fear.
So the broader market mood is cautious, even fearful.
Yeah. And that contradicts the stock's recent positive move and what the analysts are saying. It shows that maybe the underlying psychology is still weak. Plus, ServiceTitan shows pretty high volatility, 5.85%. That means big price swings are common. It can be a wild ride.
That is a fascinating contrast. Big earnings reaction, but mixed technicals and a fearful backdrop. So what about the pros? How do the analysts who cover this stock full-time view it? Bullish, bearish, somewhere in between.
Interestingly, the analyst consensus is actually quite bullish. That just adds another layer to the puzzle. The average price target among analysts is $127 up to $150.
So suggesting decent upside from the current price.
Yeah, potentially 16% to 24% upside over the next year based on those targets. And get this, across like 13 to 19 analysts covering the stock, there are 0 sell ratings.
No sell ratings at all.
None. Heavily bullish stance. We even saw an upgrade in the last 90 days. So you've got this really interesting split. Professional analysts are optimistic, but some technicals and the general market sentiment are more cautious or even bearish.
Wow. 0 sell ratings on an unprofitable company trading at almost 170 times forward earnings, while the broader market is showing fear. That's quite a consensus. Does that worry you at all? Like, is it an echo chamber, or are they seeing something fundamental that the sentiment indicators are missing?
That's a critical question for you, the listener, to grapple with. I mean, it could be that analysts truly believe in the long-term story. They see a category killer in a huge underserved market that's just starting to digitize. They might be willing to give management a really long leash to keep investing heavily in growth, assuming profitability will eventually follow as they scale.
Okay, betting on the future.
Right. But yeah, it's also true that such a uniform bullish consensus can sometimes be a red flag itself. It means there isn't much room for dissenting views. And if the company does stumble, the reaction could be more severe because everyone was leaning the same way. It's both a sign of confidence and perhaps a point of caution.
Definitely something to think about. Okay, so knowing all this, the growth story, the profit challenge, the market's mixed signals, analyst optimism, what should you actually keep an eye on if you're considering ServiceTitan? What are the potential catalysts that could really move the needle here, short-term and long-term?
Looking ahead, there are definitely a few key things on the radar. Short term, right now, in the days following those Q2 results, say September 6th to 12th, we'll absolutely see analysts revising their models and price targets. Investors will be watching those closely for signals on revenue sustainability and that enterprise market momentum. Then, around September 16th, there's a major ETF rebalancing window. That's when funds adjust their holdings, which can cause technical buying or selling pressure, adding volatility.
Just based on index inclusion, not fundamentals.
Exactly. And in October, you might see filings showing if major institutional investors, the big funds, have been buying or selling shares. Those can be influential signals. Looking a bit further out, the Q3 earnings announcement, expected around December 3rd, will be huge. All eyes will be on whether that growth is durable and if they're continuing to show progress on scaling efficiently, improving those margins.
Right. Proof points are needed.
Definitely. And there's also a sector report expected in October related to holiday demand. That could give clues about the health of their end markets, especially since trades like HVAC are pretty seasonal. A harsh winter or hot summer can really impact their customers' business.
Makes sense. Beyond those scheduled things, what about the rumor mill? Any more speculative catalysts being talked about that could shake things up?
Oh yeah, there's always chatter around interesting companies like this. One persistent theme is potential M&A and acquisition offer.
Who might buy them?
Well, speculation centers around maybe larger enterprise software companies or even big fintech players. Given ServiceTitan's dominant position in this vertical SaaS market and its valuable customer base, you could see how a big payments company, for instance, might want to integrate deeply into that ecosystem. There are also these unconfirmed whispers about international expansion, maybe into Western Europe or Australia. That would obviously open up a much bigger market for them.
Okay. Significant potential growth there, if true.
Huge. And industry sources have also talked about potential strategic partnerships, maybe with a major payment processor. That could be a way to boost monetization significantly, taking a small cut of all the transactions flowing through their platform.
That sounds like a massive opportunity, given the volume.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, there's growing buzz about AI. Maybe a new AI-driven product launch focused on workflow automation, think intelligent scheduling, predictive maintenance alerts, optimized dispatching. If they can use AI to make their customers even more efficient, that could be a really powerful differentiator.
So lots of potential upside catalysts, both concrete and speculative. But of course, every investment has risks. What are the key dangers, the things you really need to be cautious about with ServiceTitan?
This is crucial for any investor thinking about this stock. The main stock-specific risks. Well, number one is those persistent net losses we discussed. They're still significantly unprofitable, burning cash to grow. Number two is that very rich valuation. That forward PE near 169 demands near-perfect execution. Any slip-up could be costly for the stock price.
Execution risk itself is a factor then.
Absolutely. Failure to hit those aggressive growth targets or show continued margin improvement would likely be punished severely. Then there are broader market risks. The field service SaaS space is competitive, and it could see customer churn if there's an economic slowdown as those SMB customers tighten their belts.
Right, SMB spending is sensitive.
Very sensitive to recessions, interest rates. And generally, high multiple tech stocks like ServiceTitan tend to struggle when interest rates are rising, as investors often prefer safer, more profitable companies. And finally, a really significant uncertainty we have to stress again for you, the listener, is that lack of recent primary SEC filings. It just limits your ability to fully verify the balance sheet health, the cash flow details, maybe what insiders are doing. It adds a layer of opacity that you have to factor into your risk assessment.
Okay, that's a very clear rundown of the risks. So let's try to bring it all together. After looking at the growth, the profitability issues, the market reactions, the potential, the risks, what's the overall investment thesis here? Is ServiceTitan actually a good buy right now?
Well, based on everything we've looked at, ServiceTitan presents a really complex picture right now. It's definitely not a simple yes or no. The positives are compelling. Strong, consistent revenue growth, clear leadership in a huge market that's still digitizing, and, very strong backing from analysts. But the negatives are equally significant. That ongoing lack of profit, the really demanding valuation, some underlying bearish technical signals, and that negative social sentiment we touched on. Plus, that uncertainty from the lack of recent filings really weighs on things.
Oh, what does that mean for you, the listener? How should you think about it based on your own investment style or timeline?
Okay, well, for short-term trading, I'd say ServiceTitan looks pretty high risk. You've got some bearish technicals under the surface, negative broader sentiment despite the recent pop, and that high volatility. Sharp swings after earnings are possible, as we just saw, but there isn't necessarily a clear catalyst for a sustained move higher right now. It feels speculative. Now, for long-term investment, it really seems suitable only for investors with a very high tolerance of risk. You'd be banking on a major turnaround in margins and sustained operational leverage over several years.
So not for the faint of heart or those focused purely on current fundamentals.
Generally not, no. It's probably not appropriate for risk-averse investors or those who really prioritize verifiable financials showing a clear path to profitability today. You're investing heavily in the future potential, not the current financial reality.
We've certainly covered a lot of ground on ServiceTitan today, from that impressive growth engine to the profitability hurdles and the market's sometimes confusing signals. So thinking about that recent stock surge after the Q2 results, what's the big question investors should be asking themselves right now?
I think the core question, given that surge, is this. Was that a genuine turning point reflecting real improvement in margins and enterprise traction? Or was it more of a speculative bounce in a still highly valued, still unprofitable company that's likely to remain volatile? The answer probably hinges entirely on whether ServiceTitan can actually deliver consistently on that ambitious path to sustain profitability while fighting off competitors and navigating all this market scrutiny for the long haul.
That's a really thought-provoking question for you to consider as you evaluate ServiceTitan.
Thank you so much for joining us for this analysis today. We really hope this discussion helps you feel better informed, maybe more confident in making your own decisions. If this kind of breakdown is helpful for you, please make sure you're subscribed, give us that like, and definitely drop a comment below. Tell us which company you want us to tackle next. We genuinely want to hear from you. Until next time, keep learning.